Look, he's not a co-host. He doesn't get fucking headphones.
Yeah. And
he should have brought his own fucking headphones. Yeah, we're rolling right now.
Right channel.
What, recording?
Yeah, we're about.
Why would you go live on
Am I
this?
number 3?
What?
He can't hear anything that's going on.
I can hear.
He can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear both of you. It's mine coming in clear.
Yeah, but it's not in stereo.
Look, he's not a co-host. He doesn't get fucking headphones.
And
he should have brought his own fucking headphones.
No snare for me.
You can. Hey, there's little headphones up there.
Bring your own. Bring your own cowbell.
There's little headphones.
Damn, dude, this whole.
You took your headphones off because he don't have none. Oh, there they. Okay.
I got up to get him some other ones, but clearly he doesn't deserve them.
You don't got no pelters out there. They don't. You got the cheap ones. They don't Bluetooth.
No, I got what are they called? Swordens. They're not cheap.
No, Swordens are good.
They're not cheap.
No,
they don't Bluetooth.
Do yours have 2 wires?
No,
mine have 2 wires.
Damn, I don't even. I haven't hooked wires up to it. It's got some kind of jack. I run my comms on the inside.
It's like 4 people's trash right there.
You need some.
I like the curly Q thing that goes up in the ear.
So you're
it
wearing
clearly says homosexual.
You're wearing a Secret Service earpiece underneath your.
Mm-hmm. This way,
nice.
when it gets hot and I take my ear pro off,
right? Nice.
I still got my radio.
Okay.
It was a theory.
Did James teach you that?
Well, I was trying to justify my lack of wanting to spend more money on.
Yeah.
Connections.
How'd that work out?
It works. It works great.
You're still here.
Yeah. And no battery to fail. Like, if my ear pro go dead, I still got comms.
Have you seen Evan Dixon's headphones? I don't know what the fuck he has, but they're like $1,400.
Oh, he's got some of those amps?
Amps. Yeah, who makes those?
The cool guys.
Not Amp Research. OpsCore. Yeah, that's what he has.
Yeah, and then there's, like, you can get the optional internal thing that...
That dude's got a fucking helicopter. I bet he's got some... Yeah. What do you have for headphones?
Comtac 7s.
So the MSAs were way better than the Comtacs, but then Comtac stepped their game up. They got like Comtac 3s, and those are supposed to be. I haven't used them.
Yeah, the new Sardines are nice.
If you put them on, because you don't know, right? So everything's good until you hear it, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like Night Vision was good, and then you look through other stuff, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. I tried somebody's amps once. They were like, hey, you want to try these? I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, no, you got to try them. We were at Racks and Rucks. And we were in the like gun cleaning room, and like I could hear a conversation going on in the other bunk room, but the conversation in this room was still clear. I was like, all right, get these away from me.
Yep. And then stereo, you can hear through walls and shit. You can see through chicks' clothes with them on.
Sometimes.
Who are you?
Who am I? My name is Lewis Carris. I'm an instructor.
You're gonna have to put on your big boy voice here.
My name's Lewis Carris. I'm an instructor at Tactical Response. So here in Camden. James Yeager started the company in '96, and we teach good people how to kill bad people.
How'd you end up here?
Well, that's long story short story.
Well, good thing we have some time.
Yeah, we got time.
All right.
There.
So, started here, born and raised in New York, moved across the border into Connecticut. I was still managing a hotel about a half hour outside New York City. Got into Connecticut. I was like, oh, like there's freedom here. They let you have guns. You can carry one.
Did you realize you didn't have freedom, or was it only realized once you stepped out of a slave state?
Oh yeah, it was realized after the fact.
Was it kind of like you didn't know, or was just?
I kind of knew, you know what I mean. But I hadn't felt the inconvenience of it yet, right? So I was doing all the things they tell you to do, right? Do good in school, like did that, like Ivy League diploma, check, right? On to the next thing, like, all right, do good in business, like work my way up at a hotel, and work my way up at the hotel, and was running that place, and then trying to get away from Westchester County taxes, purely monetarily, like didn't realize how bad taxation was theft, but I knew that, like, if I could pay less, I wanted to. So moved across the border in Connecticut. That's when I was buying.
Yeah, you're taking a long time to tell this story. Get to the good parts.
So taxes is theft.
Yep, taxes are theft. And so when I get to Connecticut, I'm like, all right, I can get a gun. I own my own home. Like,
So you're going to shoot your way out of taxes?
well, no, I was thinking for home defense, and I'm like, if I'm gonna carry this thing, because they let you have 10 whole rounds too. I don't know if you guys know how much
In
freedom there
Connecticut?
is in Connecticut. Yeah,
in 2 magazines.
but
No, you have to carry 2 revolvers,
No.
but keep a couple rounds
yeah,
out of one.
they'll let you put that 11th one in the chamber if you want.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy.
Dangerous.
Are the
Yeah.
chicks hot
Dangerous.
there? I don't ever hear
Yeah.
Connecticut, and they're like, the pussy's
Yeah.
tight here.
It's greater New York area, so yeah, it's
Like good pizza.
yeah. Good,
Can you see
great
the-
pizza? Mystic Pizza is actually Mystic, Connecticut.
Can you see not the Eiffel Tower? What's the thing you guys have?
Statue of Liberty.
Can you see the Statue of Liberty from where you are?
No,
Have you ever seen it?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been inside it?
yes.
Have you been to the top?
To the Crown. When I was going, they stopped letting you go up around the torch. I guess that didn't end well for a lot of
For
people.
somebody.
Yeah, so we
Why?
were
What
able to
happened?
go up to
What-
the Crown.
So when you're in the Crown,
Mm-hmm.
sealed off.
It was sealed, yeah.
Okay, so we're saying that the torches must not be sealed off.
Yeah, no, there was external staircase that went up the arm.
There's a way to
And
get there.
around.
I've seen
Yeah,
video
no.
of it.
Yeah.
What do you mean it didn't go well for somebody?
Well, I think people were like going up there and jumping off.
I think you should just let them if they're going to do it.
Yeah,
If you're fully committed, I mean,
but
ruin it for the rest of us.
you got like hundreds of people underneath, like trying to get in the thing. Like that poor
Got it. Okay.
guy
Okay.
who's on the ground level doesn't need to get like.
You could
his
probably
spine
find Herbert,
compressed.
though, and he'd get us up there.
Yeah, or at least like just like there should be a whistle or something, like one's in
Yeah,
the air.
one's in the air, a siren, a little something.
You know.
Or you know what they could tape off an area,
Put a trampoline.
right? They could tape
Airbags.
off. They could tape off an area
How
and
deep's
then
the
put
water?
put like a concession stand right there because people are they're just gonna stand there and watch to see what happens.
You saw that coming on the way to Ellis Island, right?
Yes, when you came in,
You saw that, and then they put you on the quarantine island.
which was Ellis Island.
How close is Ellis Island to that?
Very close. Like
Do you know there's
the two islands
there's
are-
an island right near there somewhere that's you're not supposed to go to it, but there's a whole fucking town on this little island there, and I don't remember what they built it for, but homeless people got it. There's a lot of people there, like people urban explore it, and then they had a bunch of like potters cemeteries, right? So they would bury you basically in mass graves and stuff, and then they had there was a leper colony. I think that the one I'm talking about was a leper colony at one time.
Yeah, there's a bunch of little islands down in there. You got Randall's Island. I know Cornell bought one to do something with NYU. Governor's Island. There's a bunch.
Okay, so how'd you become a ninja?
So after getting the gun, I'm like, I know this is a responsibility, right? Like I need to be an asset to those around me, not a liability.
It sounds like a lot of James Yeager. Like you believe,
No.
like from day one, you're like, I need to get some training.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like before I finalized my permit, was able to purchase my gun. Like I knew I was going to be coming.
Did you
down.
go take a super exciting concealed weapons class?
It wasn't that bad. So, me and my stepdad.
Could
got-
you imagine James doing a concealed
No.
weapons class?
No.
Holy shit!
No, actually, you know what? Like
Not taking
dude,
it, but teaching it. He used to teach him.
He would do a great job.
Yeah, I
right?
bet he would. Yeah,
He'd
yeah,
be
absolutely.
like, he'd be like, this is their curriculum. This is what they want me to deliver. Here you go. Like, and as soon as it's over, like, by the way,
Here's a card,
yeah,
10% off
You know?
your first.
You go to any of these,
So-
what do you? They tell you to bring a box of 25 rounds or something. You go to a James's concealed weapons class, bring 1,000 rounds.
yeah, which is nothing wrong with that. So I knew that the concealed class wasn't going to be enough, but it was relatively painless. It was an NRA basic pistol class. The dude who did it was actually pretty cool. He was like, you know, this is what we're supposed to do, but like, I mean, real life. You
So by the time you started, did you ever shoot in New York?
I had grown up. My family, my dad's side of the family, had a trailer on some acreage up in the Catskills. So like,
That's not like real New York, though. I mean,
yeah, no, but I did shoot before.
But you never like
Yes,
went
like, as a
downtown to the
kid,
back alleys and
no.
just shot at dumpsters or something.
No, I didn't have it like that.
I mean, people shoot a lot in New York. I just assume
Yeah.
that you have like
No, like I
the
said,
hood shooting range.
I was on the path of what they told you to do. You know, Like,
So how'd attack response get on your radar?
so I'm watching videos, trying to, figure out, all right, how do you hold this thing, and like how to manage recoil. Just watching all the videos on stuff and trying to research where to go train, because I knew I needed to do it. Getting time off was pretty hard for me at the time, so like investing 2 to 5 days to go somewhere, like, and a couple days to travel was big for me. So like I didn't want it to be wasted. So I was doing research on where to go.
What were your options? What was on your radar?
So Clint at Thunder Ranch was definitely on the radar. Lovell was on the radar. I mean, just I like social media monster, right? And James was kind of on the radar until one point, like the one video, Active Shooter Part 2, I saw, still available on the channel, James Yeager on YouTube. Like, if you haven't seen that, go watch it. And he was talking about, like, dead hero, live hero. There's other options that included the word coward, and he was like, fuck that. And I'm like, here's someone who's being honest. Like, he's training people, and he's telling people that you can do everything right and just not have the luck on that day.
Yep.
Like, you may win the fight, but not know it. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not someone who's going to be like, yeah, you're doing great, man. Yeah, just come back and see us for the next class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not ready for
Like,
this one.
yeah, like, I was like, that sounds like a dude who is going to be straight up. Like, and I was like, I want that. So go to sign up for Fighting Pistol. And then I saw they had a 5-day class called Way of the Pistol. I'm reading the description, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, if I go down for 5 days straight, like, deep end of the pool, like, then, like, they're sending me home
Right.
John Wick, like, Jason Bourne, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll have all the things. Like, medical, check, yep. Force on force, yeah, we'll try it under stress, check. Like, I'll be good. 5 days, I'll have everything I need for the rest of my life. Come back up, and that's not how this works.
I'll move out there. I'll just go out for a year's worth of training. I'll get a wife,
Yeah.
buy a house.
So after that 5-day class, I was like, all right, I need to take Fighting Pistol again, Advanced Fighting Pistol again.
Did you feel taller?
Like the full medical class. No, I felt.
Did you feel bigger?
If anything, I felt maybe some. Like I had some confidence, especially after going through like our advanced curriculum. Like, there's some pretty cool stuff in there, and
But you stayed off the phone when you walked out of the store.
Hmm?
You stayed off your phone, fucking looking around.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I need to take all these other classes. Need to take the medical class, and I was like looking at my schedule and doing like the Napoleon Dynamite calculation. And I was like, wait, it's gonna take me like 72.7 years to take all the classes I want the skills for as of last week. So yeah, I bought an Airstream and a truck, and
That's right. I forgot about the Airstream trailer.
dude, I threw a bunch of shit in it. I rented out my house in Connecticut and fucking came down here and signed up for a year of fighting. We offer a thing where you pay a flat rate, take as many classes as you want for the year. So signed up for that.
It's actually a great deal. It's cheaper than renting a house for a year. You can just go live in James's house for a year.
Dude, I met him at the NRA show, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about, because Barrett was living in the team room when I took my Way of the Pistol class.
That's right. You got
Right.
That was your bro.
So I'm like, hey, like at the NRA show, I'm like, I'm thinking about taking the year of fighting. Like, if I do that, like, it's cool to stay in the team room. And he was like, no, you can't fucking live in my house for a year for free just because you're taking classes. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I figured
Of course
that,
I wouldn't do that.
yeah, but because I was there and there was this dude, Barrett, and he was saying, and he was like, yeah, Barrett doesn't fucking live there anymore. I was like, all right.
He
got
did
it.
for a long time.
Yeah. I was like, okay, got it. So, like, Airstream got thrown into the budget.
Barrett's the reason you couldn't stay at the house.
Probably, yeah. So, Airstream threw a bunch of stuff in there. didn't think I was going to need long pants. I'm like, I'm going down in the South.
Tell them your long pants theory.
Oh, sure.
So like this hoodie, I'll take a hoodie, you know, but I probly won't need a jacket or anything like
Like,
that.
I'm from New York.
Yeah. And so it's not that far south. And so then year of fighting, about halfway through, James was like, hey, do you want to teach this shit? Like, you're getting good. Like, do you want to teach it?
That's real, man. You know how many guys come here with the hopes to teach it and never fucking get that? Well, you know now.
Yeah.
But for James to offer that without, that's awesome.
It was kind of cool. Like, because we hadn't had much interaction. You know what I mean? He gave me a job when I got down here. He was like, hey, you know how to use a screwdriver and a fucking paintbrush? And I was like,
Yeah, you know how many dudes don't?
I can handle that.
Yeah.
And but when he decided, I was like, dude, I don't know. I was thinking like year off kind of thing and then going back to doing my corporate thing. But there is something about this stuff, and I want to understand it on the deepest level I possibly can. So if that means, if being able to teach it means learning it better, then yeah, give me all that. And he was like, all right, like, you know, no promises, like, but yeah, we'll put you on that path. So the next 6 months like went by and we were in Pennsylvania, and my year of fighting, like the day came.
He was like, you're going to have to take a taxi home.
That's what I asked. I was like, hey, just so you know, like my year of fighting ends tomorrow. Like, that doesn't mean I got to walk home or something, does it? And he was like, because they call it year friends, right? And he's like, no, that means like I can give you a green shirt and you can be an instructor for us. And I was like, oh shit, yeah. And I mean, I was hooked. Like, I love doing this.
How long have you been doing it now?
So that was 2019, 4 years.
That's cool.
Is it what you thought it was?
No, but I love it.
What's the craziest shit you've ever seen with a student?
Craziest shit. Damn.
Okay, you can pick 5.
All right. Let's see. Shit. I don't know. I'll come back to that question. I can't narrow it down.
He's like, they're going to be listening.
Yeah, well, and
they'll know.
No, I'm not trying to be too politician on this.
He's like, he's sitting right over there.
No, I could leave names out, but no, it's more. It's not the craziest stuff you see. It's the stuff you see repetitively.
Yeah. Like what?
That's kind of crazy, like the random timing of the, like, are we going to need knee pads for this question? Or
EOTech's on backwards.
Yep.
Wrong batteries for the light.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
No Loctite.
Yeah. Like
guns not zeroed.
Like $6,000 gun in like a $32 holster.
With some 550 cord for a sling.
Yeah. Like, you know, those things are like, you can almost smell it. You see it walking across the park.
How often you see a dude come in with like really expensive gear, just super Gucci, but it's also totally squared away?
Here and there.
Are you more apt to see a guy come in with just some piece of shit gear, but can fucking do crazy shit with it?
Yeah. More dudes, I think, with limited monetary output on gear that can run their shit than the dudes wearing all the fucking cry.
The guy that shows up to class with his mags in his pockets.
It's because when you have money, you feel like you can buy the experience instead of actually going out and experiencing it. That's what it is. It's real easy. It's real easy. If you have the money, it's real easy to buy an HK 416 and pretend you're Delta Force.
And you automatically went to 416. Is that the pinnacle?
I mean, HK is the Gucci gun.
It's expensive.
But you just pulled that out like you'd actually thought about this. So
no.
If you could have anything, you'd go with a 416?
No. The what do they call it? The Mark 27?
Who makes that?
HK.
In real world. So what is it really?
I don't know what it is really.
It's not a 416.
No, it's the current.
It's not
rifle.
some bullshit. The Navy's like, let's rename this and make some $14,000 manuals
it's
for
the
it.
current rifle that the Marine Corps carries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard everybody's switching over. There's no more 5.56 now. I heard that shit's like really fucking happening.
I don't believe that one bit. There's no
Dude,
way.
Like
There's
wherever
no way.
it came out, I got like 20 PMs. They're like,
shit.
"Hey, ask Jeff what he thinks about
Oh,
this."
the SIG Spear. What
It's
is
not
it?
happening.
6 point
No?
something.
No.
We'll give you 1 round to practice
Yeah,
with.
again,
and another
yeah.
I
round.
heard they're moving everything to belt fed. There's not even going to be
that
magazine-fed
did
rifles.
not work with 38 and 357.
It
right?
never
Like,
does.
Having a separate training cartridge
the
is
problem-
not going to
yeah.
be good.
The problem is the Army bought off on a concept. I don't want to say they bought off on. It's a great idea. Like that cartridge is awesome in the belt-fed guns. But in the Spear itself, no one has fired full-power cartridges. When you see everybody testing them, they're using the 277 Fury rounds
Why?
because they haven't perfected it yet, and so
So they're scared to shoot the real bullet?
because its pressure is so much higher than the normal round. The round that they promised the Army was going to go with the gun is not the ammunition that anybody's shooting. Everybody's shooting the anemic round. So when you see Grand Thumb out there and he's blazing away, he's shooting it might as well be 7.62 really. So no,
I don't believe you.
it's 100% true.
I believe it.
You're going to see what you'll probably see is you're going to see some ninjas running around with those guns. But
Only if they fuck up.
yeah.
only because there's not supposed to be no there wasn't supposed to be no pictures of them with
You're probably
MP7s out
You're
there.
probably going to see some ninjas running around with those guns, but as far as regular Army goes, they don't. SIG doesn't have the production capability to make that kind of ammunition.
Okay.
And
Did you hear
why would you get rid of? I mean,
they're
Jesus,
shutting down? Are they shutting down Lake City?
I don't think so. If anything, what happens when you hear stuff like that? It's usually because all these things are owned by a conglomerate anyways. And so usually when you hear like Lake City shutting down or Remington, it's just they're shutting down.
Shifting production.
And they're shutting down, and then Bill comes in and he's like, turn everything on. They're just
Okay, so how is Lake City tied in with Winchester?
I don't know.
Somehow in this thing.
Well, I think Lake City is under the same conglomerate.
Okay, so no more 5.56 for civilians is what what this was.
Okay, what people are probably alluding to is a reality that nobody is paying attention to. Trump said a long time ago, NATO sucks. They're not paying their way. They are not doing their part to protect Europe because
I just had this conversation with somebody today or yesterday.
they're not doing their part. Okay, now
They said the exact same thing.
in the
you're saying.
grand scheme of things, and everything going fine in Europe, does it matter if Germany has stockpiles of 5.56? No, it doesn't, because Germany doesn't feel like they're in danger. But because of this bullshit in Ukraine, everybody in NATO has been funneling their ammunition to Ukraine. That Germany does not have the capability to stand up and start making all that ammunition again. Nobody in Europe does. We are the only ones. That's why when you look on the news and they're talking about artillery shells, all those shells are coming from here. So the issue is,
and then we just borrowed them back from South Korea or something. We probably gave them to them to borrow them back.
the issue is NATO has depleted its inventory on all things, artillery shells, small arms ammunition. It's all gone to Ukraine. So we are the only ones that can fill that gap. In 2024, the ammunition prices are going to go through the roof if you can even get it, because we're going to be sending all that shit to Europe.
We're standing up a bunch of ammunition.
Yeah, we're going to
facilities
stand up
right
a bunch,
now.
but again, the Russians shoot 20,000 artillery shells at the Ukrainians every day. The Ukrainians can only respond with 8. We're not even close. We're not even close to equalizing that match. And right now, all those stockpiles are just fucking getting smaller and smaller. They're shooting 10, and we're sending them 3. So that's going to be the problem with the ammunition. Is everybody's out of small arms ammunition, to include us. I mean, don't forget, we spent the last 20 years over in Iraq and Afghanistan just shooting shit into the dirt.
Maybe that's the plan though. Then they'll be like, "Hey, we have to confiscate all your guys' ammo because we need it for the war effort."
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they were confiscating pots and pans in World War II.
Dude, they were just doing a buyback. They just did a buyback in New York to send, or somewhere, to send guns to Ukraine. You didn't see that?
Yeah. You know what? I would like to be the Ukrainian that opens that box.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Fucking high point.
What,
Woo!
I mean, there's going to be BB guns in there. There's going to be all kinds of pipe guns and shit.
Okay, so I don't searching, just looking at social media today, and we're sending the biggest carrier groups on the way.
Yes.
The big push right now is that China actually manipulated this. They actually planned this for 2 years. The president of who are they mad at right now? Who are we mad at this week? Palestine.
Palestine. Yeah.
The president of they have a president. The president, their equivalent to a president of Palestine, actually went to met with Xi Jinping 4 different times and their buddies, and they actually manipulated this so that the United States, has to fight a war on 4 fronts. How did he get to? Do they have an airport in there?
Where in the Gaza Strip?
In wherever in
where the Palestinians are.
Yes.
I believe that they have to leave the Gaza Strip, go into Israel, and then fly out from Israel.
And they have such a thumb on that area that they just let that dude take off and go to China 4 times.
He might have went a different way on land.
Yeah, I mean, he could have went through the tunnels into Egypt, and there's all kinds of ways he could have got out. But again, when you're certain people, the Israelis didn't have any idea any of this was going on. So if the president
says they did.
No, what I'm saying is, they got caught with their pants down. Whether there was two dudes in a ready room that went, yeah, Egypt says they're going to attack us tomorrow. Nah, that's not going to happen. That's probably exactly how it happened. But what I'm saying is, there was no heightened security alert, so there would be no reason to stop somebody. He's like, even if he was legit with what he was saying, I'm going to go to China and I'm going to see if we can get, I don't know, toilet paper. Then the Israelis are going to do all their stuff. They're going to invest. As long as all his paperwork's done, he's going to go in the airport and fly wherever he wants.
You think we're going to war?
No.
Well, I didn't look at social media yesterday. Turned it on today, buddy. You'd think the draft has already started.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't, because the reality is, if you think we're going to war, please, just use the Wayback Machine and go way back before computers. This happens in Israel all the time. Israel is surrounded by enemies.
What happens if something happens to that carrier?
Total war.
But again,
what could happen to the carrier?
They don't have the capability.
Who's going to do it? Palestine? Well, they're going to fucking shoot at it.
They don't have the capability. They just don't have the capability. When we say carrier, the thing that people kind of leave out, when we say carrier, what we're actually saying is carrier
27
group.
Ships.
Yeah,
carrier group. And those 27 other ships are just there to make sure nobody can get close to the carrier. Carrier itself has its own defenses.
You ever see what a phalanx does to a jumbo jet? A passenger jet? Wasn't it? Who shot down the fucking...
I think we shot one down.
Wasn't it an Israeli jet?
I don't know if it was or not. I don't remember. But again, this happens in Israel all the time. The Israel IDF is fucking on point. They are going to do all their due diligence, and unfortunately, they're going to crush the Palestinians. I mean, just yesterday there was a big thing about Hamas trying to sue for peace already, trying to be like, hey, fuck it, we're done. Because all they're trying to do is garner attention to their plight. That's why as soon as it ended, you had the squad up there in Washington, D.C. going, hey, we need to stop fighting. We need peace. Because they knew what was going to happen. The Israelis are going to go in there fucking... It's not good for the Palestinians.
The pro-Palestinian protests happened way too fast.
Yeah, way too soon.
Like,
and
it's happening.
When they were planning those, the month before, they probably should have staggered a few extra days in there.
So
and the carrier, the reality with the carrier is, it's just Joe Biden. All that carrier group is Joe Biden saying, "Hey Israel, we support you." That's it. That's all they're doing.
But if we take a hit, like on anyone in that fleet, right? Like they run the dinghy with the fucking
like a Tom Clancy movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happened in the Gulf.
You're talking about the coal.
No? Mm-hmm.
Your bigger issue is not the carrier group.
Do you know what happened when they hit the coal?
What did that start?
Well, I mean, we grabbed everybody that was over there that had anybody they wanted. They snatched up and fucking brought them out of the fucking country. Like the FBI ran 79 operations in the first fucking 4 days or something over there.
The issue is not the carrier group,
which is weird, right? That the FBI would do that.
I'm just like, there's a lot of weird
the
stuff.
carriers
Depends how deep you want to go into who's actually.
Tell us what you think.
Well, I mean, I'm not informed enough to have an actual theory, but it wouldn't be crazy to me if Joe's sending like something over there to take it.
Oh, I agree.
Right?
Some would say that that's actually what this was.
Because if it takes the hit, right? Like, hey, World War III is not starting fast enough over in Ukraine. Like, you know what we need to do? We need to get like Israel behind us, like start like a closer ally than Ukraine was. Apparently, we weren't close.
The ships in Pearl Harbor, they knew that was happening. They left those ships in Pearl Harbor.
So
they don't need to do. Okay, so first off, the carrier is never going to get close enough for dudes in dinghies to go out and do anything. It's symbolism. The issue is not that. The issue is what's going on in Lebanon. So Gaza Strip is within. Gaza Strip it really is a POW camp inside of Israel. It's not Hamas, is it? Mm-hmm. It's Hamas in Israel, but it's Hezbollah is in Lebanon, and they have already said that there is a line that if Israel crosses, that they will join the fight. Now the problem is, Hezbollah has been massing weapons freely because again, they're in a space where they can get all the good stuff from Iran, Egypt, Afghanistan, all the MRAPs and all that shit. So they've been massing stuff, but mostly rockets, and they have the capability of using long-range rockets to hit places in Israel that the Palestinians can't do. So they have long-range rockets. They have a lot of them.
But how many F-16s would shut that motherfucker down in 20 minutes?
But the issue is, opening up a second front, right? We already know that the amount of rockets that the Palestinians fired or Hezbollah fired was enough to keep the Iron Dome from being able to neutralize all the threats. In Lebanon, they have way more rockets. So they're going to get effect on target that the Palestinians could not get. And they have I don't want to say a better army, but they have in Lebanon, they have a seasoned army because those guys are going across the street and fighting in Syria. So they have a seasoned army. So when we look at Gaza, Hamas is fucked. The reality is if nobody steps in, they're done. The Israelis are going to kill every single one of them.
Who's going to step in?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If who is it again? Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon.
How many Hezbollah are there compared to how many Lebanese?
Who knows? But that opens a two-front operation for the Israelis, which becomes a little more difficult. And Lebanon's it's a little bit of more of a reach. They have to take more territory in order to get in there.
Hezbollah is just people within that country.
Yes, right.
So
yeah,
you can't just
we just need.
Yeah, you can't just carpet bomb them because it's the same thing as what's going on with the Palestinians.
You're gonna have to send Pierre over there to do peace talks.
Oh man, HVT number 1, they're gonna wrap his ass up immediately.
Would Pierre be a diplomat or would he be their version of like the Lebanese Jackie Chan?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yes, I like that.
And then the problem with Lebanon is you already have now. Remember, right now we're just fighting. We're technically the Israelis are just fighting terrorists. Okay, not nation states. With Lebanon, it's different. Lebanon has the support of nation states. So if Israel goes after Lebanon, you have Iran, you have Egypt, and who knows what other Middle Eastern countries that would join on with them in order to fight the Israelis out of Lebanon. Now that would be a reason to have a carrier group over there to help the Israelis quell that argument there. But then again, that starts putting us into something bigger.
But again, that argument would be over with. At least the incursion would be over with just air.
And you think if Iran's
No,
involved,
maybe not.
No?
the other
maybe
BRICS partners
Yeah.
are gonna maybe
Yeah,
be
that's
involved
the
as well,
issue. Does the other
right?
does
that brings China in?
if we become occupied?
It's like the whole fucking LBGD dictionary now.
Yeah, if we become occupied with a Middle Eastern conflict in support of the one nation state in the Middle East that everybody hates, does that give the Chinese the opportunity to execute whatever plans they have? My
Yeah, they
personal
were saying they're rolling into Taiwan.
my personal opinion is that's it's bullshit. China has the same. China has 100. It's probably worse. China has the same fucking problems that the Russians have. They're a paper tiger. They have been showing all this stuff and pretending that it is on par with us. And Ukraine has just showed everybody that their shit it's not legit, and they're not training their soldiers right. Same thing in China.
I would say China's even worse. I mean, it's probably like those mega cities they're building.
Yeah, it's even worse. They talk about how because they did the one-child policy, when they did the one-child policy and it was a male child, the parents really spoiled those kids. And so they have a hard time getting those kids to interact as a unit because they all think they're special. And so the Chinese have the same problems that everybody else has, but probably even worse.
They can't replace population.
Yeah, and the reality is everybody's looking at us, but I'm telling you right now, there is a nation state that's over there that's real close that right now is going, please China, please start some shit. Just start some shit. The Japanese want to be a prominent power within the world, and by going toe to toe with the Chinese, they will become a prominent power in the world.
Problem for us?
Well, again, that's how we see. We as a nation, we don't want to fight for Taiwan. We don't want to do it. And the reason why is because there's too much, there is too much distance between our equipment and where that fight's going to be. And most of that fight's going to be on the water. Just too much distance, meaning C-17s having to fly constantly. We don't have the amphibious lift capability that we used to have. So there's just too much distance. We really don't want to fight China over Taiwan. That's why we keep giving weapons to the Taiwanese, and that's why we keep giving Aegis-class cruisers to the Japanese. We don't want to do it. If let's say, I don't know, let's just hypothetically say the Chinese decide, fuck it, we're going to do this. The Japanese are going to go into, the sea that is supposed to be neutral territory with their ships, and they're going to attempt to pick a fight with the Chinese. We will not want them to do that, because again, the problem is Taiwan is not an ally. Taiwan is just Taiwan.
Yeah, we need their chips and shit.
Japan, on the other hand, we have an alliance with Japan that requires us to come in at their safe, to safeguard the island of Japan. So if Japan goes out there with their Aegis-class cruisers, they are going to fuck the Chinese up because those cruisers are badass. But the Chinese still might be the problem is the Chinese can hit Japan with long-range missiles. So if the Chinese start hitting Japan with long-range missiles, you can guarantee our carrier groups are going to be steaming over there. All the Mews are going to be heading that way to get in that fight.
If they can hit Japan, they can hit one of our ships.
Oh yeah, the Department of Defense, the
We
DA.
probably have some badass subs at this point now.
Could Japan handle China?
It just depends on how much of a paper tiger they are. It really depends on how much of a paper tiger they are. Because again,
we armed them, right?
They've
got missiles.
The thing about our stuff in Japan is, like, when we were both running the same ships, their ships were better, because. Sorry, Navy.
Humans.
Yeah, they crew their ships better because they still have that authoritarian Japanese honor system. So they crew their ships better. And as soon as Japan gets an American pin, they're like, wow, that's fucking pretty nice. what if we put a laser in there and did
Yeah.
a radio? You know, it'd be cool if I could hear music while I was doing this. That they just make the systems that much better. So, Japan's going to do, even as small as the Japanese Defense Force is, they would do relatively well against China. It just depends. It really depends on those long-range missiles and how bad they will go. We've planned for this war. We planned for this war 15 years ago. And in those plans, the U.S. loses 2 carrier groups. That's fucking ridiculous.
Can we even put, I mean, we have ships right now we can't even put out to sea for lack of manpower.
Correct. But again, the difference is...
Person power, maybe, is what they're looking
Oh, we're not
for
allowed to
these
say
days.
man anymore?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, no, you know we're going to war. You know why?
it's the new...
I saw Army recruiting videos this morning that had fucking white guys in it. You're definitely going to fucking war.
Well, again, we don't... Currently, peacetime, we don't have the manpower to put all those ships in. But I promise you, if a carrier group goes into the South China Sea somewhere, and the Chinese use a semi-tactical nuclear weapon to destroy that carrier group, it's going to be like World War II. The people are going to be lined up for miles to
Would one missile do that?
A tactical nuke would, yeah. That would be very bad for a carrier group. But as far as aircraft and things like that, we still have an advantage over them. So they're not just going to. Again, you can have accidents where somebody gets through and a silkworm missile hits one of the ships and sinks the ships. But for the most part, our shit is better than anybody else's.
All of this kind of like wargaming and thinking, like you have to assume that like
They have better people doing
Japan
it.
wants to beat China, like U.S. wants to, like Russia actually wanted to beat Ukraine. Like
I don't think Japan has the
if
problems we have.
If the goal is ongoing war,
Well,
so that people can get rich on all sides, then like what could happen?
Well, the issue is
start.
You ain't gonna have a Hello Kitty fucking deployment out there.
The issue is for especially for China, the Communist Party is waning, and old Pooh Bear, he's already said that he would take. He's put that out there that was like, we will take Taiwan back. So it becomes a matter of honor. And the problem with Pooh Bear is he has killed every dissenter. So if you were like, bro, you know that body armor is made out of plastic, he would be like, what? And then, you'd be killed the next day. Mm-hmm. And then the next guy would be like, it's the best body armor ever. It'll stop a fucking tank round. I don't know what that asshole was talking about. He's a dummy. You know what I'm saying? So he's surrounded by people who are whispering in his ear that we will be successful. But that is the exact same thing that happened to Putin.
The Communist Party over there.
He was surrounded by people who was whispering in his ear.
Like the KGB.
They were whispering in his ear. They're like, hey, as soon as we get into Ukraine, everybody's going to be waving Russian flags, and we're going to be able to drive right to the Capitol and grab that Zelensky dude and kick his ass. It was an intelligence failure, but I promise you it wasn't a failure. It was, hey, man, I think the Ukrainians are actually going to fight. What? Mm-hmm. And then that dude disappeared, and then the next day somebody came in like, hey, we can fucking do that, because I don't know if anybody remembers, but when those first units were going into, what if it was like hypothetical and just asking, what if it was more like, hey, we're going into Ukraine, we're going to make a big hubbub, we're going to pretend like we're trying to take the whole fucking thing, and then we're going to back out here so that we have that land bridge to Crimea.
Well, it's what your government does to you all the time.
Right. Like, so why wouldn't they?
Well, strategically, if you look at the lines that are there now, right? That is exactly what Putin said in the beginning. Right. That's what he said he was going to do. So strategically, it's right. But again, people were whispering in his ear, and that's why you had those big breakouts that came out around to go into Kiev, because they were whispering in his ear saying we could take the whole fucking country. And so I don't know if people remember this, but when they started going through the wreckage of those lead Russian units, they had rubber bullets. They had rubber bullets because they thought, worst case scenario, there's going to be some rioters, maybe some people throwing rocks at us. They had no idea. So it is the problem with a communist regime is they tend to kill anybody that is going to say something that you don't want to hear, right? You don't want to hear, hey man, you probably should take a shower. You kind of stink. Did you just say Pooh Bear stinks? And then they're going to kill his ass. And then the next day, everybody's going to be like, smelling good, sir. Oh, what are you eating? Yeah. That's good. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with those societies that people don't understand is the minute you come on the radar, there's a whole group of people that are going to fucking like. I always like the when you see the North Korean military in uniform, and those motherfuckers got medals up to here. And they haven't fought a war since Korea. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's the mentality. That's the mentality of how those places are. It just doesn't. And the thing with the Russians is the military knows that, like, if you're a general in the Russian army, your pension sucks. It's terrible. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get a contract. I'm going to get John a contract for gear. And I'm going to be like, John, if you make 50% of it out of tissue paper, no one's going to know because we're not going to war. It's going to be sitting in this warehouse. You keep half the money, give me half the money. And that shit was going on all over Russia. That's why, when they were getting those T-80 tanks and the fucking sand was coming out of where the armor was supposed to be, because they were literally stealing. But thinking this will never, like they had a warehouse. No. They had a warehouse full of TNT blocks. Just a warehouse full of this fucking TNT blocks. And when they opened it, it was wood.
Where was this?
In Russia.
Oh,
that's the problem that they're facing is that there's such corruption. And if you think there's no corruption in China, come on, they're doing the same goddamn thing in China. So I'm not. Again, could the whole world catch on fire tomorrow and I'd be completely wrong? Of course. But this thing in Lebanon, I'm not worried. This thing in Gaza, I'm not worried about because the Israelis they're gonna fucking crush them. The only issue will be is if Hezbollah steps in and decides to increase the size of this conflict.
What about there's a lot of threats out for tomorrow.
So that
because they called it jihad.
New York activated every police officer they have uniform right now.
I mean, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Well,
because
where there's not going to be a jihad.
Camden, Tennessee.
Yeah, they're probably not going to unless they take the wrong exit off of 40.
Well, the reason why
we said 196 off of 40.
We'd have some awesome footage.
The reason why I'm not worried about it is because again,
I got a kid out there.
We have a
He'll do all the work.
Yeah, we have a selective as a society. We have a very short attention span, right? And they're like, and everybody's like, oh my God, they called it fucking jihad. They call it jihad every fucking month. This isn't new. And the problem is,
but the gliders kind of got me thinking Red Dawn.
I mean, the glider it's
like when you look at the pictures.
What do they have? 3 of them?
It's no, dude.
How did Iron Dome not shoot that down?
I saw
because what they did was
very metal on it.
No, very smart. Very smart what they did. So the Israelis made the classic American mistake. We make this mistake all the time, and then when we start a war somewhere, we have to pay for it with dudes. But they made the classic mistake where they said, you know what? We don't need to have guys out there. We could just put technology out there. And so the part of the wall that they attacked, it had weapon systems that were remotely controlled. They could shoot everything up. It had cameras everywhere. It had all that. Had all that stuff. Hamas used drones to attack the cell towers. And so they took the cell towers out. When they took the cell towers out, the domes that have the automatic guns opened up. And so the guns are like, let's shoot some people. And then they flew a drone over and dropped a grenade in those domes. So they effectively, killed their technology. And then, when you see them hitting the wall with the tractor and they're all running through the wall and shit, it's the only reason why they can do that is because there were no Israelis there. So they were relying on technology, and somebody figured a way to get rid of that technology. And that's how they were able to do all that shit. It's because,
Because they all took the day off.
100%, no matter what anybody says, like the Air Force is notorious for saying this. You cannot conquer anything without boots on the ground. You have to hold that ground with troops. Period. End of story.
So, troops in the last 3 years, how many soldiers or different agency from different nations have come through our southern border?
Oh, I'm sure there's thousands.
Millions.
I'm sure there's thousands.
They're saying millions.
I don't know about millions.
They flew 200,000 in on jumbo jets.
The issue is
from country to United States. We'll put them in 23.
The issue
cities.
is not
that's a lot of people on a jumbo jet.
No, multiples.
That's the issue is not nation. Again, the issue is not nation state characters, because we're really good, and everybody knows this about the United States. The United States is really good when it's a nation state. So if you're a nation state and you're like, I'm going to send some people over there and fuck those guys up, we turn your country into a freaking wasteland. So nation states don't want to have anything to do with us. It's the thing you have to worry about is those independents, right? Bin Laden was an independent.
But do we not do stuff in other places that's not so nation statey? Like
meaning
like CIA type.
Oh yeah,
stuff,
yeah. I mean,
right?
yeah,
like
we're
the Chinese secret police stations in New York.
We're
there
doing,
could be cells of
there's probably
special forces.
Dude, they caught 2 bio labs in California last year.
There are probably cells all over. The question is, what's the end goal, right? You have to, which everybody.
Well, the end goal to put the 3 of us on some kind of like, hey, hop on this train. We have the pod ready for you. It's cool. The bug stew is ready. Just go ahead.
Yeah, but
right?
that's the issue is most people, especially in Europe, and I'm sure they do it in China too, is they underestimate how big the United States is, and how hard it would be to do anything that would not come with a response that you really wouldn't want. And
if the United States didn't want you to do it.
Well, yeah, but again, here's the issue. We'll just use Joe Biden as an example. If his administration is culpable in, I don't know, let's say a biolabs, and that happens, there are enough people in enough places that Joe Biden and his administration will no longer be in charge, and 11 carrier groups will be heading towards China, with whatever's left of the military. You know what I'm saying? We're very good. We are very good at nation state destruction. Sorry, CIA. We are very bad at covert operations and things like. We're just bad at it. We don't do them very well. And so I'm not worried about that. The thing people should be worried about is you had 300,000 Venezuelans come into this country. We had them all underneath.
That was all of their prisons. They released all of them. And those aren't dudes that were in there for fucking tax crimes.
Yeah, they literally emptied
bad hombres.
They literally emptied all their prisons. Now, if you think about it
saves tax dollars.
It sure does.
Yeah, they were celebrating it.
If you think about like Cuba, right? Castro did the same thing. He opened all his prisons. He put all those prisoners on boats and sent them to Miami. And for 10 years, Miami had a crime wave that brought to us by Scarface, right? Mm-hmm. They had that big crime wave. So to think that we are not going to suffer consequences of 300,000 prisoners being dropped in the United States, but those are going to be localized stuff. And the one thing that we are very good, or I don't want to say very good at, because we are good at it, but the federal government does everything in its power to make sure that when it's, for example, if we'll just say Laredo, Texas, if a bunch of murders and shit are happening in Laredo, Texas, and it turns out that they are all from Venezuela, that will never get reported. It'll just be murders it'll never get reported. So we're very good at covering up things when it comes to an agenda, and this is an agenda for them. But even, you think even the Biden administration, they already just came out and said, fuck, we got to build a wall. Because they know. They know that this isn't going to play out very well. It's not playing out anywhere. It's not playing out well anywhere in the world.
Why don't they just close the fucking gates back closed?
Because
Have you seen Mike Glover's? Mike Glover's down on the border.
Yeah, saying it
flying
is,
with these helicopters, showing how crazy this shit
signal.
is.
You don't have to actually do anything because you say we're gonna finish up the wall. That means like there's planning and there's like just standing at the river and being like, hey, like go back that way because like I got this.
Yeah, you only have to shoot
M4.
one.
Like
Yeah, that's what I've said all along.
Like,
Put ranges there.
like,
You only have to shoot one, but
yeah, like
I am sure that if the Biden administration was like, they just went fuck it.
Minigun.
No, they were just like, if the Biden administration was like, fuck it, there's nothing we can do. Abbott, you can handle it.
Abbott was handling it.
No, that's what I'm saying. And just let Texas do Texas. Nobody would be coming through Texas.
oh yeah, no.
Nobody would come through Texas.
Yeah, I mean, just the Texas Guard.
Yeah. Nobody would be coming through
They're
Texas.
only saying anything about it because they're getting all the heat from New York, from Chicago.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
Well,
That's the only
I
reason.
mean, New York said, "Hey, all good in the hood. Send us your
but then they
unwanted."
said no mas.
Yeah, I mean, look at Chicago. O'Hare Airport's a fucking refugee camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're gonna say they're gonna do something to build the wall back or slow it down, but I don't know if that's really.
Do you know
what
there's a 60 square miles in Texas where somebody who is it's BlackRock basically, this land developer has built this whole city and is selling it to illegals with no paper, $200 down, and this group is it's full infrastructure, fucking
45,000 homes,
60 square mile, and there's like, and it's like some Sector 9 shit. It looks like Tijuana. There's some real homes there, but there's also dudes in cardboard boxes, and there's fucking every trailer in the world's been pulled in there, and it's.
Yeah, 10 years from now, we'll burn it down.
And again, I'm not so worried about those people. I'm more worried about like the Syrians that got through the border.
Well, I mean,
like,
and they say they caught
pick a country that
they
doesn't
caught
like
150
us.
HVTs coming across from FBI's wanted list or whatever. Why would they tell us that? What's the real number?
Oh, what's the number of unknown? The number of unknown.
Well, we know every
right?
one of them.
Like casinos don't build new
No, we know
casinos.
we know every one of them. Nobody's come across the southern border. Well, not since Biden's been in office that we don't know about, because the minute they come across the border, they're given a fucking cell phone.
Yeah, but still, there's ones that are on that list that know that they
Yeah,
can't
but you don't
get
think
their
those
free
cartel
cell
dudes are
phone.
collecting everybody's phones and
No,
fucking
what I'm
jumbling
saying-
them and
what I'm
mixing and
saying
matching them?
What I'm saying is when you go through the gate,
You don't think they're DNA typing them right then?
they might be, I don't know, but when you go through the gate, they're like, "Hey, welcome to America. Here's a book bag. Camilla Harris's book's in here. Go ahead and read that. And here's your cell phone. We'll call you
In 7 years.
We'll call you when it's time to go to court."
Yeah.
And so those
Here's
guys
your
are
hotel
all,
room key.
yeah, those
You know
guys are
they're-
all using those phones.
Do you know they're not giving any of those people vaccinations of any kind?
No, you can't do that.
But the amount of drugs you seize at the border is never going to be the amount that gets
Correct.
through.
no.
100%.
no.
Correct.
Yeah, they don't want to
The
stop
amount
it.
But you don't
the
want-
amount
here's-
of contacts and people that turn themselves in is not. It can't be
But
as
here's
much as is going through on the unknown path.
But here's the thing: if you're Ninja Dave and you're coming out of Syria and you're like, me and the boys are going to meet up and we're going to burn down malls, you want to go through the gate. You want to get that phone. You want to be freely moving around within the United States, because if you're going to sneak in and sell up, there's a chance that people are going to be like, those motherfuckers stay in that apartment with the windows closed all the time. It's much better. It's much better if you're a Saudi citizen and you have a legal passport and you can just walk right in the country. If you're going to do a thing like that, sell sneaking in, it has to be immediate, right? So if for example, those 300.
But the people in town don't know if you stopped and you got that you have
Oh, man,
your Biden phone on you versus
But you don't know the
iPhone that
you
You
don't
don't
know
think
the
they
power.
could clone all those phones?
You don't know the power of Karens. The Karens are strong, and they will sniff out people who are not supposed to be there. Again, it's much better. It's much better.
We're being defended by the Carris.
It's much better.
It's great.
It becomes much better if you are part of the community than trying to hide in the community. Every one of those people, every one of those Saudi Arabian terrorists that attacked us were all within the community.
Right.
Like they were going to strip clubs.
Right.
You don't want.
But
You don't.
that's what I mean. They wouldn't need to hide. They could be a part of the community or whatever without being on food stamps.
If you
right? Like the food stamps aren't what make
no
you
no.
part of the
But what I'm
community.
saying is,
Phone.
if you are, it's the attitude and the idea. If you are a covert operational cell, and you're going into a foreign host nation country to conduct an operation, if it happens immediately, then being covert is okay. But the longer you are in that country as that covert entity, the harder it's going to be, because again, the problem is you're assuming that those guys are sneaking in the country, and they're going to their safe house and they're like, we're good. They wouldn't be. What they would be doing is going, fucking they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. Did you go to the strip club last night? You motherfucker, I'm going to whip your ass. If they find out we're here, this operation is over. So as a covert cell, those cells are usually pretty fucking tight, meaning stuck. And if every day that it clicks by is another day closer to being caught. Because again, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the mosque, or you're going to, sorry, I didn't mean to assume that
that's exactly what
they're all, you're going to go to the places and you're going to meet with the people that are already there, but are, meaning if you're from Syria, you're going to be hanging out in a Syrian neighborhood. And the problem for a covert.
But those people don't know if you checked in with the government.
Yeah, they would. They will know. Yeah. That's the problem with a covert cell. A covert cell is the minute you start interacting with regular people, they're going to be like, where are you from? When's your court date? They're going to start asking questions to people that you can't give them any answers that do not become suspicious, right? And then once you start interacting within even a tight group, like if you're in Minnesota and it's the Somalis, even in a tight group, as you are moving within that community, you don't know which person within that community is like, I fucking love America, dude. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. You don't know who the guy is that's going to be like, dude. There's these 4 fucking dudes in this apartment who only eat bread and peanut butter and have not come out for a week, that don't have a good story. And then the FBI is going to come and they're going to be like, oh, there's these 4 guys in there. And then they're going to leave them, and then they'll blow up a bus or something.
They smell like chemicals.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's
I get it.
when you're in a,
hide it in plain sight.
Yeah, it's better to be out in the open as much as you can.
Mantle and just say it's a replica.
No.
Hey.
Do your paperwork. Be legit. Go buy that gun legit. Because again, there's no blip on the radar. I don't have to explain the AK because I bought it at John's pawn shop. I know. Hey, we're pals. He sells me. You know what I'm saying? It's just better to be out in the open, because it's really hard to stay covert for a long time. Now, short periods of time, it's okay, but for a long time, it's real hard, because people. We'll give you an example. The chemical lab in San Diego that they found. It wasn't the CIA. It wasn't the FBI. There was no 3-letter agency that went, hey, these motherfuckers are making plague in San Diego. It was just a Karen who was walking by and going, what's all this freaking green water that's coming out of here? And then boom, they busted them.
They found one up in further north too. Big one.
So that's all I'm getting at with that.
Hundreds
it's just
of
real hard to
hundreds of commercial freezers with live bio.
It's just real hard to stay covert for a long time.
They were making all kinds of shit in there. Okay, so you're not worried about what's the jihad? You're not worried about jihad this weekend?
No, I'm not worried about it
What
at
are you
all.
worried
I was more let's put it this way. I was more worried about the national alert than I was.
Is that why you
jihad.
didn't come?
Yeah, because I had to have my phone in the bag and the ammo can buried in the backyard.
Brandle's girlfriend was at peace with us killing him.
Well, I mean, come on, most people would be at peace with killing Brandle.
I mean, I had it.
He looked like literally.
He was in front of the truck. I was just going to drive over him.
Literally, he looks like somebody that
sings really good punk music.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Looks like he should be in Blink 182.
Again, it could be possible that there's, a cell of Chinese or Syrians or whatever. There could be, but again, the longer they're here, the harder it is to execute that plan. It's like, for example, the Russians had all kinds of cells.
I'm on my way to like almost full on black pill. I'm like, maybe they were hired out. Like, maybe they're working for our government because it's going to be hard to.
It's easier.
It'll be harder to get Americans to do to Americans. But if they go, hey man, like, you know that house you're sleeping out in front of, like, you want to sleep in it? Like, you can have that house.
If you just go off those Americans, you can have this place.
The government is the U.S. government and all your three-letter agencies are very inept. They're not very good.
True that. Yeah.
They're not very good. A lot of times when we're talking conspiracy theory, we're giving these individuals some sort of extra human power, right? Where
way too much credit.
Like every time.
That's what he used to say. Every time I throw some shit out, he's like,
They're not smart enough.
we know the guys that do that. Like, we were there when they did that, and they weren't able to do it.
So we give them a lot of credit. Where our government is really good is because they are so inept and because they are all out to, basically everyone wants to outdo the other person, that those lines of communications don't happen that we think that happen. And so if a customs agent is like, 6 motherfuckers came in with the same passport, with the same stamp on it, and they're all from Saudi Arabia. And he tells his boss. His boss goes to tell his boss, but he doesn't have a capability of telling the FBI that information. And so that information just dies. We are very good at just going, what? I didn't see that. And then when it's all over, everybody's like, oh, I saw it. And then the FBI's like, yeah, we thought something was going on. And then everybody's, after it's all over, because now they're looking at those threads. But we're really terrible at identifying those real threats.
That's how you end up like the Whitmer thing, right? When they were going to assassinate Gretchen Whitmer. They arrested 15 people. 13 of them were fucking federal agents or informants.
Yeah. There's a great video I saw on social media.
I mean,
like one of those meetings.
If you look at the last 10 years of FBI involvement in terrorist cases, people who have been accused of terrorism, almost all of them have been entrapment. Like almost every single one of them is, hey man, you know what'd be cool? If we blew up the courthouse and you're like, yeah, down with the courthouse. I hate those people there. And you don't, but you don't have any capability whatsoever to get the material, buy the material, plan the operation.
Well, the FBI is going around killing 70-year-old men for fucking posting shit on the internet.
And then the FBI is going to be like, "Hey, we got some explosives. What do you think?" Right? It's all entrapment. Like there was a case in
They're
DC.
They're going to Randy Weaver you.
It's like, hey, these Daniel Defense rifles are real nice.
They turn up everywhere, amazingly.
There's a case in DC.
They're expensive. They're fucking expensive. I like guns. Like, I would have a Daniel Defense.
I want to see how many of them have the same serial numbers.
And I don't work at Wendy's.
And they all have the same optics.
The reality is they save their birthday money.
Oh, fuck. That's what I'm doing
You're
wrong.
not saving. You didn't save your birthday money.
Damn,
that's how you gotta do it.
It's all those brown white supremacists.
Grandma, kick it up a notch. Let me get a little more birthday money.
I mean, we should really be hyping that up.
Brown white supremacy?
No, we should really that group. We should really be hyping that group up and getting a fervor because I would really like to see.
Are you talking about the Nazis from yesterday?
Yeah, I'm talking about the FBI agents who are pretending to be Nazis. I would really like to see a crowd of
every time this happens,
of
right?
Karen Blue Hairs beating the shit out of those guys.
Every time the white supremacists show up coming out of the subway or whatever, somebody always pops up with like, "Hey, this dude, he was here, he was here, he was here he is in his FBI uniform." Mm-hmm. Every time.
Well, you can 100% be sure that if local law enforcement are protecting their routes and movement, they are not who they say
correct.
They are, right? Real Nazis would be running around, jumping over fences and shit, not marching in between police officers. Yeah, they're all feds. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There ain't no brown guys running around with the fucking skinheads or the Aryan Brotherhood in prison. No.
It doesn't. They're not.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's not.
Yeah. What's your favorite class to teach?
Dude, that's a tough question. I'm gonna say fighting pistol. It may be a cliche answer from like our cadre, but that is the class where light bulbs go off.
You ever had
like,
students you
on
couldn't
people.
teach? You ever run into an unteachable person?
I've run into students who didn't want to be taught.
What they leave with? Black eye.
No, just like okay, there's people that
You just kind of
like
just route into
the
people.
guy next to you is going to improve more now.
You were like,
you
you
you're
ever just
safe,
like you ever
you're
just like,
safe,
why don't you come up here and let me just teach us how to do it?
I've heard a story. There was one. I think Jerry was teaching, and he had one of those dudes in class.
A heckler.
Yep. And so Jerry just kind of put it up to a vote, like show of hands who paid money to come here and learn what somebody with one of these shirts on had to say. Like, shh. Like, all hands go up. He's like, all right, well, show of hands who came here to learn what he's got to say. And, like, no hands went up.
he didn't even raise his own hand? That's bullshit.
And
Were you ever in a class where James took a dude's gun away and made him use a fucking
a wooden gun?
plastic gun?
No, I was in a class we had to do that in.
Somebody took your gun away?
No,
What kind of wood do you use?
I gave him a orange holster making gun, like
Yeah, a
plastic.
rings manufacturing. Is it true that Tim has to use a plastic gun in every class?
No, I think he's off probation on that. I think he got his metal gun back before I met him.
Nice.
But yeah, and he's buying another SIG.
Did you ever see James's bullpup collection?
I have not.
How about his 1911 collection?
I've seen his 1911 collection.
We would say that, and James, like, finally he caught on. He's like, because people be on the live feed,
Yeah,
and they're like
jumping
asking
in.
about 1911s and
Yeah.
bullpups. He's like, "You motherfuckers!" They're like,
Yeah.
he did. It took him a while for somebody to tell him it was us. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't even like, we weren't sending people. We would just
No,
say it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they would show up
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, no, I remember those. I'd stand next to him, and we'd get like Steyr Og, or
He's like, "Ban that motherfucker."
or one of the other, like leave Tavor off the list because
You guys-
that was the one that he was like, if you got to do bullpup, do Tavor.
You want to
And so
really,
he
you
would
got to
go
really
nuts,
fix
man.
your guys' algorithm. Fucking unban everybody that James banned. Just unban the million people and let them show up, because
dude.
they'll show up to talk shit. You can reban them, but once they've posted, it will spike all of
The
their
other-
followers
yeah.
Dude, we've actually been getting a spike on a lot of old videos. I don't know
because you're
what's
posting
going
them.
on.
Because you're posting shorts.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of shorts. You're posting a bunch of shorts.
Okay.
Remember, I even asked you when he came in. I go, "Hey, who's making those videos of James?" I go, "That's good shit." I go, I watch them. Like I'm noticing them.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're getting a lot of comment action on like old stuff. Like,
So go back and interact, reply to them.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for showing up, man. Here's and post a link. Hey, come check out our new shit. You should come take a class.
Yeah, I think one of them was saying something. It was a video you guys did about pouring jerry cans or how to get.
The jugular siphons, yeah. Man, we were bringing those in by the fucking truckloads.
Yeah.
We'd put them up on the website, populate the website, and they'd sell out. And people like, "Hey, I think you guys didn't hit apply, or they're sold out." I'm like, "No, they're really sold out."
Yeah.
It would take us longer to ship them than sell them.
Damn. Yeah, they're great. I mean, they said.
I have
I
have 80 of them out
Lean
there.
the can back.
Cans.
No spill, or something like that. The thing I use to check all the comments doesn't let you watch the video, so it's like I'd have to go over and jump in.
What are you talking about?
I'm using
The studio app.
yeah, it's called Metricool. So
Don't you YouTube has this thing called Studio.
right, but then I can only see the comments on YouTube.
Oh.
I got a thing where I got my comments for.
Oh, because you're
TikTok and
using
fucking-
like StreamYard or something to
Yeah,
auto-populate
it's
all platforms.
So, well, I post from individuals, but to manage.
Why don't you just pay
comments-
for it? Cheap motherfucker.
Hey, listen, I'm saving up birthday money for fucking rifles.
a rifle.
Trevor.
over here.
He's
Yeah.
got it to one.
Do you know Desert Eagle's making a bullpup?
Dude, what? I need a Desert Eagle and a Desert Eagle bullpup. Do you have any Desert Eagles?
All of them.
I do not have any.
And
Desert
50
Eagle.
bullshit.
I don't have
You
a
don't
Desert
own any, not
I
a
do.
single
You
one.
got
don't-
the one in the fucking Tiger Stripe.
I don't. I would. I would get
too,
it, but
yeah.
I don't own a single Desert Eagle.
You want to split one?
Have you
Yeah,
ever?
we'll
I
split
go-
one.
we'll go like-
Yeah, we'll split
We'll
one.
go like alternate days.
We'll split
You
one.
get the upper,
You know
and
what
he
we
gets
could
the
do?
frame.
Hey, they have a Desert Eagle kit where it comes with all the calibers.
What's
So
that?
we could-
What's that
So
cradle
I'll
that
have
you put a Glock
44
into?
blowgun,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
What's that cradle you put a Glock into?
The macaroni.
Oh,
Do they make one of those?
the
for,
corner shot?
No, not the corner shot.
Desert Eagle and a corner shot.
Oh, dude.
Hey, IDF, come on. Desert Eagle and a corner shot. Fuck that Glock.
Isn't
Lame.
Desert Eagle wasn't it Israeli originally?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is it still?
Yeah, it's
Or is
still
High Point on them?
No, that's still.
I think they designed it.
Yeah, High Point designed it, but that's the same way with the Glock AR-15. High Point designed it.
Do you own any gold-plated gun?
I don't own any gold-plated guns either.
I'm gonna have a gold rattle canned gun like soon.
What are you waiting for?
Just
It's not cool unless it's an AK.
I'm gonna get the optic zeroed on it first, so I can.
Why? You can still paint it.
Yeah, I know, but
Is
I
it in the
wanna-
truck?
Yeah,
We
You got
could do
the
it
paint?
now.
I do not have the paint with me.
We can have a nice cool when they're driving in. There's just like a AK fucking outline painted on the gravel.
No, I'm gonna do the Tavor, I think.
Is
In
it
gold.
My AK, I got an AK we could do it with, but my Occam has a custom paint job on it from Brian. It's got naked, like, mud flap chick.
Chicks, yeah.
Like,
Camouflage.
It looks like
Don't you know that
black.
tattooed on your lower back?
Yeah, no, it's right on the belt.
Do you have any
right up
tattoos?
front. Yeah.
You want me to give you another one?
Are you doing tattoos at this event?
I mean, I'll do it for him.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe.
I got a chick that works in here that she's
She does.
done like 20 of them on herself.
Shit.
But she's using a needle and a ballpoint pen.
No, she has tattoo guns. I'd totally let her do one on you.
Don't, hey, don't go down that rabbit hole.
That took a second.
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
Totally let her
You want a
do
new
one
truck?
on you. A new truck.
Don't
Well,
go down. Stop.
Listen,
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
I mean,
You want a gold set of teeth?
Don't go that. You're about to have.
I bought those back in my commercial fishing days.
You're about to have a dragon
I couldn't spend cash.
flying out of your butthole.
Oh, you get to pick it?
Don't.
That kind of thing?
No,
Don't.
I never pick it. They always say they'll do it, and I'm like, okay, sounds good.
I'm listening to all offers. I mean, I'm at that point in life.
I have a video on my laptop right now of last time there was a tattoo guy
Yeah,
here.
like,
You have to reconsider.
I'm guessing, like, I'm hoping if butthole tattoo is required, then I'm out. Like,
You know, there's some of those out there.
Oh, I've seen some, but
No, it was
it's
SOE on them.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's the video that I have.
We had to start a Pornhub channel so that we could publish the video.
Did you use the natural terrain features for the design?
No, it's kind of like
S-
his name was Pigman, so
S0E.
they got all the way up in there,
It's a good
and the
way to-
pig curly tail came up, had a sign said SOE on it. It's all the way up his back. He got sick and had to go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Dude, I saw a video of a chick getting a butterfly that was like.
Yeah, everybody's seen that, or the octopus.
getting removed. That seems like it hurts.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's content, man. I think they just build it for content.
hey. Damn. All right. I got all kinds of awful tattoo images in my head.
Totally stumped him, man. I didn't think it
know,
was going to be
just
that
with
that
a-
shut him
No,
down.
it's- Shut
Just
me
with
down.
a butthole tattoo.
Shut me down. I'm like, fuck.
We haven't even
what
got
kind
to-
of truck are we talking?
We haven't even
I'm
got to the penis
I'm like,
head one.
shit, he just drove in a real nice truck.
We,
Is
we
this
haven't
all
got
set
to
up?
the, we haven't got to the combat cock penis tattoos.
Dude, that would fucking hurt, wouldn't it? I'm thinking back.
We know
like,
somebody that you can ask.
It fucking hurt.
I have the stencil in my desk from
It
it.
hurt on my ribs.
That's one of my more prized possessions.
Yeah, we definitely know the guy you can ask, and whether or
We
not
could
that
bring
was-
him in here and have
Yeah.
him put it right here on the table for you.
Yep.
I'll take his word for it. It's like, what's the line from Tommy Boy? You get a good look at a T-bone sticking your head up a cow's ass. I'll take the butcher's word for it, though. Like,
So who have you not trained with that you want to train with?
I'd like to train with Costa.
Why have you not? That's totally doable.
I know, man. It's like those things.
You want me to have him come down here this
Wait.
weekend?
crossing paths and stuff, and
What?
He doesn't have
He'll,
the gun.
he'll parachute right in here.
But he doesn't have the guns for that. Costa's gone all Western and shit. He's all 6 guns and levers.
I can borrow stuff.
Okay,
I
all
know
right.
places.
You got a hat?
If
The cowboy hat or
I
something?
can find something.
I mean, you got to dress the part if you're going to go
Dude.
take one of Chris's
Dude,
classes.
I gotta show you the pictures.
He should ride in on one of
when
those
we took-
Highland cows.
That would be
took
cool.
helicopter class at Don Edwards.
What's that have to do with Chris Costa?
Range. Well, he was saying got to have the right outfit.
Yeah, you got to have the right outfit.
What outfit do you wear when you're fucking shooting out of a helicopter? I went James Bond.
Well, you went in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
That's pretty ballsy.
Right?
Was it yours?
Well, yeah.
You own a tuxedo.
No, it wasn't a full-on tux.
Does it fit
right?
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was black Vertex pants. I bought a black sport jacket on.
511 tuxedo.
Yeah, basically something like that. But
I know what you mean.
but
I had to
snappy.
I had to
Snappy
put
dress.
my tiger stripes and headband on to shoot the flamethrower.
He also put on a trench coat.
Yeah.
Well, that's for the AUG. You can't shoot the AUG without a trench coat.
He has all the spots for all the watches and shit that hang in there.
You can't shoot
That's
the AUG
the-
without it. You got to have the. I mean, yeah, that's all
like
part of the.
Harley Davidson and Marlboro. Man.
Yes, it's all part of the
Everybody
game.
knows.
Uzi 9mm.
The who?
You couldn't understand my Schwarzenegger impression?
No, I thought you were trying to swallow whatever you just sipped out of that. I was like, is he okay?
I'm around dudes that are having fucking strokes all the time.
But yeah, Casa, I'd really like to get out and train, spend some time with Haley.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. I've been watching more and more of his stuff. He made a video that was like a turning point, or I don't want to say turning point, but like, all right, like I'm going to train with him off of this video.
Grand Thumb's dad.
Well, it was the one he was talking about. I guess he caught some shit from the internet, like.
Imagine that. Somebody in the internet's
like,
mad about.
They took, like, other instructor took something out of context, and he was like, hey, like, what the fuck? Like, why do we have to go against each other constantly? Like,
when you have
who does
when
that help?
when you have a social media person attacking somebody, they have less. They're after clout.
Mm-hmm.
It's always what it was. It's they're after attention.
Yeah. So
They're looking
that's
for.
cool.
We'll have somebody just like I've never even heard of, like just fucking actively attack us over some shit from 10 years ago. Like I don't even fuck. I won't even. I'm like, ignore them.
Is that Bob still looking for his, or what was the last coupon code I saw?
I don't
like
even know.
Way back in the day video.
I don't even know.
You were like, Bill, you know who's not getting one of these bags? Fucking Bill's not getting one, but there'll be 400 of them ready to ship out tomorrow.
We had some dude super fucking pissed. He'd ordered something and it hadn't shipped in a few days, and he's like, "I'm a captain in the United States Air Force." He was in Colorado, and we used his name as a coupon code. And then we had people tag him. I actually got in trouble for it again. We had people tag his social media account, but we're like, hey, first 20 people to order these, we'll put $100 bills and $50 bills. And we did. We put fucking all the money. And people were like, oh, man, they pulled those. But that was the biggest comment on the video was, they didn't send those people that money. But that video got like immediately 1,000 times more comments off of it.
Yeah, you should have said.
We videoed putting them in. Like, how would you know we didn't take them out?
You should have said, hey, if you get one of these, if you get some of this
people
money,
did.
take a picture of
it.
it.
There's people on there commenting. No, I got the money. So who else?
Who else is on the list? There's a lot more I want to do with Sonny.
How come you hate John Lovell?
I don't hate John Lovell.
Well, you didn't say him.
I
Like
do.
you should.
Well,
Like you didn't even immediately go to Warrior Poet.
Be correct, right? Like, I would like to train with them, see what they're doing. I spoke to Paul.
Who's
at
Paul?
Shot Show. Paul Perkins is
Who the fuck's that?
Their director of training.
I
He's the one
know
that teaches
John Lovell.
classes. And Sam Houston teaches with them.
Who's he?
Sam's awesome. He works with.
Who's
Green
he
Line
work
as
for?
well.
Who?
He works with Green Line Tactical and Warrior Poet Society. I think he's got the stock sock.
What does that do?
Dude, it holds a tourniquet on the stock. It makes like a nice cushy space for you. Like it seems.
Didn't we build one of those?
You built some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come I never seen one of those?
Because they're lame. We got a kid here, Prepared Citizen, and he's got a. Well, you have one of them for the M-Lock and stuff. It's a pretty neat system. It's made out of aluminum and shit.
I've been working. I've got that mounted to a rifle now. It didn't for some reason.
I'm just fucking around about those other guys, by the way. I like John Lovell stuff. I actually walked up to John Lovell and I go, hey, I got to admit, man, I'm kind of butthurt over it's not like you've been in town a bunch of times and you haven't been to my shop. What's your fucking problem? And he's like, hey, pretty big to say that, and like shook hands and he's like basically walked away and he's like, yeah, fuck that guy. James brought him in here and he's like the last time, second to last time James was here, he came in and he goes, hey, I want you guys to know each other. And man, we were here for 3-4 hours, just like bullshit, typical James, and then some, pretty deep shit. Like I really appreciate the content that Level puts out. I think especially like completely out of my wheelhouse, watching Level preach. Like if you've never seen that, you should watch that fucking sermon he gave. I think he was out in California, man. Just amazing.
Yeah. No, he's got a gift for delivering message.
I believe him.
Sure.
Like I believe what he says.
Yep. And he's speaking from the heart. Like it's honesty coming out. So yeah, I'd definitely like to do what they, or take a class with them, but I think there's a lot of redundancy between what we do and what they do. So when I'm planning on taking training classes, I'm trying to like expose myself to.
I used to get really mad, right? There's some dudes that came, took classes here, were here a few times, and they go out and they're like, they would take James's stuff, right? And he's like, don't go stupid places with stupid people and do stupid things. And then I was sitting in a class with, who originally said it? Old dude.
Was it, that's not Cooper, Farnham?
Farnham. And I heard Farnham say it, and I'm like, oh, motherfucker. And I'd ask James about it. He's like, yeah, that's where it came from. And I spent years like fucking really angry at these dudes. And James was like, no, I got that from John Farnham.
That's not really what you said.
What did I say?
I know you, John. You were like, that motherfucker stole that from James Yeager.
I'm going to burn his house down.
Fuck him up.
Yeah. And it's,
that's really what John did.
And like him being over at SOTG, right? They'd go to Gunsight and Crucible, Kelly McCann, and all these different places. And I remember 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, being like, what do you guys go out there for? He's like, because we get one thing. And then we add it in. And I remember talking to James about that. He's like, I go, why do you go train at these places? He goes, because things change. We get one thing and we bring it back, and we might not even agree with it, but we could manipulate it and move it into what. And it's not about making a different curriculum than the other guy. It's about improving yours or opening, like things just change.
Yeah. Dude, it's constantly like things get sharper or duller, right?
Okay.
Like they don't stay the same. So like you're either getting in better shape or you're getting in worse shape.
I'm with that.
So same thing.
Fitness is free.
Yeah. And for like knowledge and this relatively new martial art, right? Like, I mean, how long have striker fired guns been a thing? Like it changes.
So what did you bring to TAC Response? What's the sticker?
So far, I'm going to change the way that optics are used on pistols. And I've started that.
Are you going to go to like a 3x9?
You're going to push them out further towards the front sight?
Are you going to hold them?
I'm thinking about that, right? Like,
are you going to use the kill shot?
Experiment, but no, it's reticle for me right now.
Changing the reticle?
The circle only reticle that Hollison offers.
Okay.
It's like a long distance ghost ring. So where I want that bullet to go is my front sight. Like think AR.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. No,
like,
I get it.
So that's where I want that bullet to go is my front sight. I pull that pistol up, everything fades. I'm through the optic body. I'm through the reticle. It's a 32 MOA circle. I'm through all that. Like the body will center that shit. Like it will. And you just do your part with the trigger. It takes away any anticipation of like, all right, I want it here, and that dot is doing this, and so here it comes. The next, right?
Yeah.
So it helps take some of that away. It's kind of like a training wheel because you can have a piece of that optic in the edge of the window, and you know exactly, you're accountable for where that round goes. That same sight picture, if you were using just the dot is just outside the window, right? So if that dot is just outside the window, I have no accountability for where that round's going. Right?
By the way, everything you just heard was trademarked, so don't try and steal his idea.
Yeah.
Can't you just curve your bullet?
The curving bullet, I've been working on it. My wrist is kind of acting up after the tactical game. So
Angelina Jolie, well, I think she died from the vaccine, though, so she can't teach you anymore.
Yeah, but in the left hand, I just don't have the rotation for it. But
you know
we'll get there.
Can you shoot long distance with a pistol?
Yeah.
Did you ever see James do it? Yeah. Did you see him shoot in a mirror backwards?
I haven't seen him do that. I've heard of that shot. I tried to do it with the phone camera, like selfie, like the new mirror.
It's true. That is the new mirror.
And it doesn't work.
If there's ever an EMP, nobody's gonna be able to see themselves.
No.
Yeah. So I was looking for one out in Idaho. We were just out there teaching, and I made a hit at like 150, like through my legs underneath, upside down. Yeah.
You know who shoots long distance pretty well? Pierre can fucking do that.
Pierre shoots pistols.
And
that motherfucker can shoot pistols.
Whenever you say optic on a pistol or red dot, like that's Pierre's got that shit.
And
who's the kid?
Super Dave is
Super Dave Harrington, the real one?
Yeah.
Who's
is disgusting at distance.
Who's the kid that owned NSR?
Dave or Mike?
Dave. Mm-hmm. Dave Black. Mm-hmm. He could shoot distance too.
Yeah. No, he's also very good with a pistol.
Let's just circle back real quick.
Yep.
Your theory on sleeper cells.
All right. What about?
You look kind of...
No. You just mentioned him.
Me?
You just mentioned him.
Like who farted?
You just mentioned.
Since I asked who farted,
You just mentioned sleeper cell.
HVT.
HVT number 1. Pierre.
Straight out of Lebanon.
I mean, that's the guy you should be watching right now. I would be watching his ass.
I haven't seen him around in a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shit, he might be up to something.
There was a motherfucker that kind of looked like him on one of them gliders.
Driving a Porsche the last time I saw him. He's got Rolex. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I see something in Lebanon, I send it to him, and he's like, dude, the power's off in Lebanon. He's like, the power's always off in Lebanon. Like, it's a normal thing. Like, you guys get brownouts where the power's off for 30 minutes. We get brown-ons where the power's on for 30 minutes.
When you're haggling for...
He was getting LASIK surgery.
Yeah, when you're haggling
and his mom's haggling the price with the surgeon.
Like, I'm guessing
and while he's getting the surgery, the power goes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, that's
awesome.
That's pretty
That's probably
awesome.
why you can shoot long-distance pistols so well. It was too much of a burn. Just tweaked it just a little bit.
Yeah. You got like 25.
I'd have a goldfish put in my eye. And a reticle. And I'd be able to swap my eyes out.
Nice.
All right. You got anything else to say?
Get some training. Like, we've been talking for a while. The world ain't getting any safer of a place. Like, get training. Get out there. Get some medical training. Like, you are your own first responder. You are responder zero. So, like, get out, get training, learn how to fix yourself on any kind of traumatic event, and learn how to defend yourself.
Can you cook?
I can.
Like, really good?
I haven't in a while.
Because I don't have to train, because I'll just hire you. But I don't have people that I get killed all the time, so you're going to have to learn how to cook.
All right.
Were you a crab fisherman?
I was a monk fisherman.
That's boring.
Commercial fisherman.
That's like the fake lobster.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Poor man's lobster. Delicious. It was harder work than those crab guys.
It's hard to work with it? It's harder to work?
It was harder work.
Did you come home every night?
Pound for pound. Not every night.
How many times did you die while you were on the boat?
Never officially.
Did you ever get sucked in a net under the water?
I was lost at sea for quite a while, and
how long?
Froze to death.
Like you really were?
Oh yeah, like I was like seconds from death.
Did you have a helicopter on your boat?
Nope.
Lame.
Yeah, no helicopter. We couldn't afford that.
How long were you in the water?
Unknown.
Did you ever get almost raped by a dolphin?
They asked me how long I was in the water, and I was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes.
Did you lose? Did you lose your boat? Did the ship go down, or did you fall off?
I fell off.
Somebody threw him off.
I fell
Crab
off.
pot. Got him.
No, I was jumping over something, and it was like 8.
And everybody on the boat was just like,
well, no,
where the fuck did he go?
Yeah, they were working. Yeah, I was.
Did you have like a Mustang suit on or something?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. I had my whatchamacallit? Shit. Why can't I think of the name? Skins. Or like the foul weather gear, like all rubber suit.
Frog togs?
Like two hoodie sweatshirts, long johns.
Is it not treacherous out there? Are you like fishing in the summer or something?
No, this was middle of January. The boat that dropped me off.
Oh, the boat you fell off, they found you.
They found me.
They're like, look, you can't keep killing these guys.
Okay.
You got to go get them.
We got to get back to this.
All right.
You fell off the boat,
and
then the boat rescued you.
Yep.
And they asked you how long you were in the water?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't know.
Yeah, no, because I was not anywhere near the boat.
He doesn't remember what happened. This is the story they told him.
No, they were pulling away. Like, I remember vividly, like, a lot of it. Like, there was, like, a moment with my lucky hat thing, and, like, I had given up. I was like, I'm not chasing the boat anymore.
Right.
Because it's, like...
You guys don't have, like, EPIRBs or some shit?
I didn't, no. I was working in the hotel at the time. I was out on this trip as a favor because the gear was all fucked up. And my buddy didn't have anybody that could run the flaking machine, like, effectively.
The hotel took a life insurance policy out on you, and they're like, hey, go kill this guy.
No, I don't think that's what it was.
Key man insurance.
But yeah, like, I didn't have enough strength to hold, like, the life ring and the rope for them to get me back on the boat once I got there. Like, it was...
Do you float when you're in the water with your shit on?
Yeah, I was making all kinds of weird calculations. Like, luckily, I was using borrowed gear. Boots were like 4 sizes too big. Normally we'd get them 2 sizes too big so you could kick them off. But like, I didn't even have to think about that. Like, I fell in, and like, as I started bouncing back up, like, the boots just got sucked off of me. So that was a good thing. And then, like, I was trying to calculate whether or not my gloves were catching more water, like, and slowing me down.
Right, keep them or dump them.
Like, or are they keeping heat in? And I'm trying to, like, do all that math and shit. And then the boat's just getting smaller and smaller. And, like, there were points where I'd be able to look down on the deck.
Yeah.
Just enough to see that, like, they have no idea I'm in the water. And it all sucked. But
were you hungry?
I wasn't hungry. I had some thoughts going on and stuff, and then it was like, all right, well, this is, I guess, more peaceful than you picture it, you know? And
were you starting to dunk underwater?
The whole time, yeah, because it was like 8 to 10 foot seas, and so
I'm surprised they found you.
I turned my back to the boat, right, because the sun was coming up in that direction. So I turned my back to the boat, started floating on my back, and was like trying to think, like, how do you drown faster? Like, do I swallow the water? Is that just gonna make me throw up and like be like worse than watching the sunrise and freezing to death? And like, as I did that, I was like contemplating that, and I heard "man overboard," and I'm like turned around.
Oh, they mean
like,
me.
Saw the boat. I'm like, I'm back in the game. I'm back in. Like, this is great. This is gonna be fantastic. They got me. I'm saved. Like, so I was done worrying at that point.
Yeah.
So did they have to warm you up or anything? What happens then?
So they get me on the boat eventually through the fish hauler. Like, I had to tangle myself up, and they were freaking out. Right.
Of course.
Like, freaking out on deck, and I guess like I probably wasn't my normal color and shit. And I was just like, relax. Like, fucking,
I'm out of the water.
Like, we're so good. Like, you guys know where I am, and like, we're fucking good. Like, relax. They're like freaking out. They're throwing me rope that's like floating that I can't get my legs tangled in. Like, I don't have enough strength. I'm like, get that serrated knife, cut me a piece of the lead line off of the net, make a loop, like, toss it in here. I'll get myself tangled up in it. Like, relax, and run it through the hauler. And so they get me on the boat. My buddy's grabbing me. They're like dumping me on the deck. They start like ripping clothes off, and I'm like, whoa. Like, this is a lot here. Like, could I get like a minute, if you would, guys? Just go ahead, give me a minute. Like, let me have a cigarette. And they're like, you need to get your clothes off. You know, like, doing all that.
We have to see you naked.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, hey. Like,
so do you go like to a warm shower, or what do you do?
So they brought a sleeping bag up.
Did a guy get in there with you?
Into the wheelhouse. Tried to after a little while.
Only works if he's naked.
Yeah. So I jump in the sleeping bag. It's plugged up against the heater, right, in the wheelhouse. And my buddy told one of the other dudes working on the boat, like, go ahead, light up a cigarette for him, bring it in. And like, having a cigarette in the wheelhouse, like, that's when I was like, oh fuck, I'm fucked up. I was like,
that's the no-no?
Yeah, it was like, he's letting me have a cigarette in the fucking wheelhouse. Like maybe I'm in bad shape. But then they were standing there with like, and they're having that conversation of like, does one of us need to get in there with them? And like, you know.
How many people on board the ship?
There was 4 of us.
Did they keep fishing, or did they take you on the shore?
They dealt with me.
Like, no conversation of lifeguard evacuation or anything?
He was asking.
How far from port were you?
Oh, it would have taken Coast Guard fucking 5 hours to get to me.
What?
5-6 hours. When I cut my finger off, it took 4 hours, and we were headed back.
You
that
cut your
way.
finger off?
What, do you got a bionic one now?
No, they sewed it back and.
What? How odd? Like you cut your finger, or the finger's like sitting on the table?
So it was halfway through the bone. So the tendons were just. It had to be surgically reconnected. So
Works pretty well. How long did it take for it to actually work again?
About 6 months.
Really? Mm-hmm. How'd you do that?
5.5 months. Cutting fish.
They're like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Twice now.
Don't bring him on
Shit
a boat
happens.
anymore.
Well, it's weird. It's like
Third time's the charm.
supposedly a dangerous job.
Did you ever see a mermaid?
No mermaids.
Anything weird?
I was trying.
Merman?
Yeah.
Were you
weird
catching
stuff.
shit in nets?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever catch any weird shit in nets?
Yeah.
What?
I'm not gonna say. Like, not on the internet. Like, I don't know what statute of limitations is for different species, dude.
Oh, he had sex with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're better off running over like a row of strollers than.
Did you guys have dolphins where you were?
Some of I know.
Like,
what
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like there was stuff that I wanted to bring home. And, like,
Yeah.
You know,
You guys didn't have dolphins where you were, right? Dolphins aren't in cold water?
Yeah, no, totally not.
It's the porpoise, isn't it?
Yeah.
The porpoises?
Yeah, they only in like SeaWorld and stuff. We didn't fish around there much.
Fucking there was recently some drone footage this dude keeps calling, and it's a marine park someplace that's completely closed down, and there's 2 fucking dolphins in there. He's like, hey, I want to know what you guys are doing about this, like what's happening with these. And they had walled off part of the park, so it's like just this abandoned part of the fucking park, and there's 2 fucking dolphins in a pool in there still.
Somebody's got to be feeding them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they stored up.
You want to
They
see
got a lot of
what
fat.
Lewis wears when he was a fisherman? I have a picture. Of
You
him.
got
know
a
what-
picture? Put it for the thumbnail. Make him have like an eye patch and a
Is
peg
it-
leg.
It's the one?
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
can't put it as the thumbnail, but I'll put it in the.
So what happened? Like when you got to, who'd you call first?
When I fell off.
Yeah.
No, I kind of kept that one a little quiet. That
So
one.
your mom's just now hearing this?
I think Brother Doyle had me talk about it at his church,
Oh,
and I think I let it slip at that point. I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to give this speech at the church about the time I
Almost died.
almost froze to death," and she was like, "The what?" And I was like, "Yeah, you remember that trip I went on?" And she was like, "You fell off the boat," and I was like, "Oh, you."
well, that's kind of
of
pushed.
Yeah. No, I thought I was going to be landing square in the middle of the deck, and boat came down off a wave, so one leg landed in a big box of.
You got a high
fish.
tower with a net and shit. You climb up in there, crow's nest.
No crow's nest, but
Seagulls chase your boat around.
Seagulls did. We had a fix for that. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Again, that one might be.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
shouldn't say that one.
Yeah.
No statute of limitations.
We
Seabirds.
Yeah, like the plastic owl
Doesn't
do the
work,
trick.
no.
That your boat's still covered in shit.
Yeah.
But there's ways to keep them away.
Not a lot of. I don't believe there's a lot of
Join
owls.
Patreon.
I don't believe there's
the ocean.
I don't believe there's a lot of owls in the
Yeah.
wilds of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
All right. You're really not good at holding this microphone.
Am I not? I don't know how far it needs to be.
Well, I put it there every time, and you keep moving it.
Right there,
All right.
pal.
Okay. Closing words. Any last?
No, that's it. Get training, guys.
Where would they get training?
Get training. Check out tacticalresponse.com. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, at James Yeager on YouTube. All the other socials is Tactical Response.
Did you used to watch a lot of Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Why do they call it? Why is your stage name Mango?
Oh, that's my. When Facebook started, I was trying to kind of stay off the radar. Or when Facebook got released to like people like.
And you thought gay exotic dancer would be the way to go.
It was my mom's maiden name, so my grandpa Carl was like.
Oh, I feel like
a
an asshole now.
foundational dude. And
Okay.
so I was like, I'll take Grandpa Carl's name. This way, I'm not searchable through
Got it.
my name.
And what's your current name
My current actual name is Lewis Carris.
on social media?
On Facebook, it's still Lewis Mango. It might be that on Instagram as well. My personal Instagram is boomshays_big_adventure.
You're going for the Pee Wee Herman thing?
Yeah,
Why
it was-
Boomshay?
It was kind of a play on the Pee Wee Herman thing. Like, I thought I was taking a year off
Got it. Okay.
And I was going on this adventure, moving down
Nice.
to gun camp.
It's been quite the adventure.
Yeah, it's turning out to
Go to
be
gun camp.
Yeah, like
I mean, it's a great idea.
so.
Gun camp?
Yeah, I mean, if James would have ever
Yeah.
got certified enough to where you could have used the GI Bill for it, there'd have been dudes here lined up. Because, I still haven't used my GI Bill because what am I going to do? Go learn purple hair macrame? What the fuck?
You, what about man camp?
What about man camp? Well, the issue is you have to get your...
No, I understand what
yeah.
you're saying. So you can't use your thing, but maybe we should. What about putting on man camp?
I mean, we could put a man camp on.
What would you teach?
What would I teach at man camp? What hole do we need in the curriculum? Who else is teaching in man camp?
No gun stuff.
No gun stuff. I'd do fitness on the cheap.
I like it.
I like it. Sounds good. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in a hotel room?
Ooh, Lord, dude, you know what they find in there, but I'll say the weirdest one. So like the dildos, obviously, right, all over the place.
I think people leave those there.
Yeah,
Like,
perfect. Yeah, they're not taking it on
his
the airplane.
coworkers
ones,
probably
like,
put them there.
built into like rubber underwear, and those would be like those would be run.
You ever find somebody suffocated to death in a pair of those?
They would put the rubber underwear on like the desk chair. And so, like, I had
gotcha.
radio system. Like, I implemented radio system so that I'd get hit. Like Lewis, we need you in room. Whatever. And like, it could.
I want to see all the butt plugs.
It could be literally anything that they're
Right.
making that call on, right? Like, because they just want sign off from above, and they don't want to touch that. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking touch that either.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, like, you fucking throw a glove on, grab one, handle it, like, boom, that entire staff.
Just throw
like,
the whole chair away.
They had, like, I could ask them to grab, like, that dude's dick and take it off and put it in the dumpster, and they would. Like, but we did have a bathroom, so raised saddle between the bathroom and the room. On the room side,
I gotta pee.
on the room side, you got carpet. On the bathroom side, we had these beautiful 20-inch black tiles, right? There was shit against the fucking shower doors, glass shower doors running down the tub and covering every square inch of that bathroom, like up to the saddle, like a quarter inch.
Oh my god! Do you
And it was solidified. It was like liquid that solidified concrete. And they were like, "We've tried, we can't do it." Like, and I was like, "It has to get off of there." And they were like, "We don't know." I was like, "Wet it and like soften it up, and you gotta scrape it up." And they're like, "That's not possible." I'm like, "Fuck." Like, give me some fucking garbage bags, some duct tape. Like, I got my fucking dress shoes on. I'm like, "Here, somebody hold my fucking tie." Like, got in there, fucking started, and like, dude, those ladies saw me doing that shit. Like, I had cred. Like,
of course,
you
yeah.
wouldn't
You always
believe
got to get dirty.
Dude.
Do you annotate on those guests when that happens? Are you like,
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah, this is the poo poo guy, and this is the
Oh yeah. So a big part of what I would do, because our ownership was very like, hey, you know, like, customers are wrong sometimes. Like do the right thing. Don't fucking take shit though. Like,
Right.
Like, don't give away our shit for free.
right.
Because you don't want to fight for what's right. And I'm like, all right, cool. So like, yeah, I'd hit them with like a $500 cleaning fee. And I'd have like the documentation, I'd have it on video, like us cleaning it. I had two dudes for a wedding rip the fucking safety chains off the window, like tear it up. Like, there's beer cans all over the place and stuff. And they want to say that the wind like destroyed the window. And so we hit them for $200 repairment fee. We had to like change hinges in
Right.
it and fucking time, labor, and don't be a fucking dickhead, right? So like $75 fix plus labor, but we're charging you $200 for it.
You drop the dildos in an envelope and send them back to
Mail
their
them
owners?
back to their address. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
you left this
You can't. So like, you could leave a Rolex in a room,
right.
right? I can't call your number to say that you left your Rolex in the room.
What happens to the Rolex?
He has it. It's on right now.
It's good. I do have a decent watch that way, but it gets put in the lost and found, logged, right? And like
too many congressmen
And
got caught fucking mailing their shit home.
At the end of the year, you let everybody go through the lost and found.
What my policy was, the person who logged it got to put a dibs note on it if they wanted to. All right, so that dibs note meant when expiration date of we're gonna toss this stuff or donate it.
What kind of time? What kind of time frame? Like, are you walking by that box every day, looking at that Rolex, going?
It's
22
no,
more
we
days.
do the so I
Or
believe it was legally 30. We would hold 60 days.
Are you walking across? Are you walking across that box, going? Look at that Rolex sitting on them dildos.
Yeah, no, we'd keep stuff like that separate.
You don't keep dildos.
You know what
though.
I mean? Like there was separate piles for.
Would you
dildos
keep
were all down in?
Would you keep the dildos?
Housekeeping.
There's not dildos in the box though.
In what box?
The lost and found
The
stuff.
lost and found stuff. I don't know what the housekeepers did with those. They got. I think they went.
Like, did anybody ever call and be like,
No.
"Hey, I think I left my huge dildo"? No.
No, we never got that call. But
Did you ever find a dead body?
actually, yeah.
Really?
In the hotel?
I didn't personally, but I was on shift when like we had to do a room check, and there was a guest who was arguing about one of those damage fees on the phone, and we had to do a check because we needed the emergency key. The deadbolt was set, so the emergency key tip, like deadbolt doesn't fucking do dick diddly in a hotel. Like safety chain that, put a door stop on the other side.
Bring your own
'cause
box.
We have a key that will undo the deadbolt. So I'm like down at the front desk getting the E key so I can undo the deadbolt for housekeeping.
Liberty
And-
Safe will just give out their
Code anyway.
write the code
so
for you.
We I'm like, hey, friend of mine, Morgan, she was working at the front desk. I'm like, you want to run up and check the room, or you want to deal with fucking douchebag over here arguing about his smoking fee? I don't even smoke. You know, I'm telling you, nobody I think it was the people before me in the room. Like, oh yeah. So like, you know, and she's like, God, I don't want to deal with that. Like, yes, I'll go fucking open the door. And yeah, dude.
And there's a body there? Was it a murdering or was it natural
No,
causes?
no,
Just died on their own?
There was kind of something with an adjoining room and his sister, and I don't know whatever came of the investigation, but he wasn't in good health, so it wouldn't have taken much pillow work. But
You ever find a meth lab?
No meth labs, not
Any drugs?
not that area.
Any cool weapons?
Drugs? All
Ninja
the
sword?
time. No swords. I found a magazine. Dude was doing his own stitches in the room, drunk from the nightclub. I found a Glock mag. Didn't really know guns at that point, but like that was like I was like, there's probably a gun somewhere in this room. So like we're like checking under the heater, the fucking vents. I'm like, dude, come on, like where's the fucking gun? Like,
Did you
and
call
he's
him?
like-
Be like, oh, you can't call him.
Yeah, no, this dude was there. He was drunk as shit trying
Gotcha.
to stitch himself up.
Yeah, that's
What was he stitching himself with?
He had like a fucking some kind of field kit, like
like
some
actual
surplus.
sutures?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a needle and thread from
No.
Walmart?
And
so you didn't find the gun.
but did not find the gun. And I'm like, then what the fuck is like? What's that for then? And he's like, that's in case I take a gun from somebody. And I'm like, thinking back now, I'm like, that's not a bad strategy. Like, I've heard too many stories.
Universal
of like,
magazine.
I can't afford an ND. You know what I mean? So like, if I go ahead and skin this Roscoe off someone, I might want to have my own magazine.
Have you ever been around when there was an indie?
Yeah.
How many?
In life.
Yeah.
3, maybe 4.
Did you ever do something with a firearm that later you learned, once you learned how to shoot for real, you probably shouldn't have done? No?
I don't think so. No, like as a kid, like
You weren't in your living room seeing how many pages it takes to stop a bullet?
no,
Did you ever shoot in your fireplace?
no, it's fucking loud when you shoot a gun indoors.
Yeah, but if you're home alone.
I guess I always had neighbors fucking close, man. Like that wouldn't fly up there. Like, I don't know.
Fucking New York,
or
man.
no balls. I don't know what it is. Now I fucking want to.
Are you
Like
ordering?
shit.
Are you ordering
Like
a
the ass
paraglider?
tattoo.
Are you getting a paraglider?
Paraglider?
Is that-
Nah,
wait.
I'm scared of heights.
Next contractor class. Next contractor class.
We start out here. We have enough runway,
Next
Oh yeah,
contractor
we
class?
can. No, we can take a power parachute out of here.
and we can fucking drop in on the birdsong range.
Yeah,
You could totally
that'd be
put a powered
perfect.
parachute out of here.
Yep.
Dude, I like the idea.
Nobody would be expecting it.
Dude, it'd be a way cheaper way to do that. Aerial
We actually had
target
that
engagement
conversation.
class. This is way cheaper than renting a chopper.
We actually had that conversation when we were moving the power lines about what kind of. We were talking about just like an ultralight, whether we could take it off or not.
Very cool. Yeah.
Get you some green headbands to wear.
If you
Nice.
had one, I'd consider going up in it. I gotta say that I couldn't say no to the helicopter shooting thing, but dude, I was nervous as fuck. Like I'm not a huge fan of heights, and like the whole like you're sitting on the outside of it piece.
You need to add I crashed and
That was
walked away from an
Yeah.
airplane crash. I mean,
Fell
you've
out
got
of
a
a
lot of
helicopter.
others already. Fell out of the helicopter.
You fell out of the helicopter.
dude.
Landed on a student. Thankfully, he saved my life.
Yeah. Like I didn't want it. Like he was like, "All right, go ahead, load your gun." I'm like, "Fuck!" Like my hand is so comfortable holding on to the seat right now. I'm like, I'd love a third hand to be able to grab this magazine.
They don't have like roller coaster ride seats in there,
No
harnesses
oh,
and shit.
no. It's flat bench with the belt, and I'm like trying to do like this thing. To
Are your
feel
feet
like,
on the bench and your ass is on like the side of the door,
No,
or
there
your
was-
ass is on the
there-
bench?
Your ass is on the bench, and there was a foot bar that you could kind of brace off of, but it was like kind of free floating.
You're too short for it.
Well, no, like if you put pressure, it folded back.
It's like one of
this
those
way.
wire step rope things that's on a tractor.
Like it was basically something to put your legs on top of when it lands, so that you don't fucking break your legs as you land. I think that's
Was anybody
intended.
like when they're like, "You better duck"? Was there like, do tall guys really have to duck,
Tall guys?
or does it just look cool when you're getting
Fuck,
out?
I don't know. I ducked like it naturally happens. You got those things spinning around, like you get low.
You duck because they pitch.
Oh, because when they're
Yeah, so
when they're flaring out.
Yeah, if you're
they're taking off.
coming around and you're standing up, you like a 53. You're nowhere near the blades. But if the pilot just fucking twitches a little bit, you'll see those motherfuckers go. Rrr. They'll come down a little bit on your ass.
Yeah. So I mean,
I remember watching I think what was that TV show ER, and one of the doctors had to get up on the roof because there was a patient coming in, right? And the life flight bird landed, and they're getting the patient out, and he turned and fucking cut the surgeon's arm off that was going to do the surgery.
The
Yeah, the tail rotor. Yeah,
rotor,
fucking- That has stayed with me the rest of my life. Like, respect helicopters.
yeah. Like don't walk around this end. Like they gave us that safety brief. I'm like,
This part
hey,
kills you.
There's like what looks like some kind of fucking jet exhaust that's like pointed like the walking around like looking up this thing.
Burn your
butt
face
is
off.
Not something I'm planning on doing at any kind of level. Like I'm coming in at that good like 10 to 2 fucking orientation.
They trucked that thing here. They brought it here on a trailer.
They did, yeah.
But that was cool on the freeway.
Yeah. It was a sexy bird.
How come you didn't get them to fly over here?
I don't know. I didn't have any pull on that, man. He was like, it costs X dollars per minute. That's why we're trailering it up to fucking.
Yeah,
and
they got
had
to
the
do
fuel truck,
maintenance
dude.
and shit.
They like hot fueled that thing. Like it. Like I don't know if it. Like it touched down. They had the truck there. Like, poosh, like.
Did we bring a truck out of the airport here? We brought a truck over from the airport over here. They didn't bring
No.
their own truck.
Yeah.
They brought a truck from Florida with fuel in it?
Yeah, it was part of the rig that was pulling the trailer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like he was trying to set it up so that he could do that to avoid having to drive it or fly it places.
Surely our airport could have just brought a fuel truck over for him.
Right, but he was already bringing that whole rig
Got it, okay.
up from, I think they filled it once they got here. at
You
our
wouldn't.
airport.
Oh, okay.
You
So
know
an
what I mean?
empty. I'm like, you wouldn't travel a bunch of distance with a fucking truck full of fuel,
Nah,
would you?
it's-
You would.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
There's only like a 100-gallon auxiliary fuel tank.
Oh,
Pickup truck bed.
yeah, I don't.
the fuel truck comes in here. I think he holds 600 or 900 gallons or something at least.
I think they're only putting in like 30 or 40 gallons at a time.
Oh, okay. Do you have rocket
Yeah.
pods?
Have what?
Rocket pods.
Can you launch
Or
rockets from it?
It didn't have any on. I believe that helicopter's like been in movies and stuff, so it's probably had all different stuff attached to it.
It's cool.
So, but we didn't have any of that cool
All
stuff.
right, well, make sure he flies over here next time.
All right.
What do you got? You done?
I mean, are we done?
Are you
I would
hungry?
say I'm going to say the same thing he says. Don't worry about World War III. But if you own a gun, get some fucking training.
Yep.
Just get some training. So, a gun is a big responsibility, and if you've got it in your closet, you might as well learn how to use it.
Get some medical training.
Dude, medical training, medical gear, like get started there. If you don't have a gun, you're interested in getting one, get training first.
And that's
not a bad order to do things in. I'm sure you took some driving lessons before you walked on a car dealership and bought your first car. Like,
Nope.
this motherfucker. Nope. Pedal to the metal, man.
on the job training.
Damn. But yeah, that's it. Stay safe.
Are you presenting? Are you doing a lecture here or something? What are you talking on?
Girls and guns, Nicole said, is what her people want.
Nice.
And I was like, so I think Dana was originally slated, and I'm like, hey, just so we're all clear on, like, am I talking about guns and girls, or am I talking about guns and girls? And, like, because with Dana, that
I'll tell you all
could go,
things. I'll tell you all
knows?
kinds of stuff about girls.
Yeah, like.
None of them girls want to hear it.
Yeah. So I was like, before I get started working on an outline,
Got
what
it.
am I doing here? And she
We're
was
right on.
like, yeah, girls being comfortable with firearms. So.
Cool. All right, you have me really thrown off. This is a long reach here. All right, guys, thanks. Compound Coalition. This is Lewis from Tactical Response, and if you back up about 10 minutes, you'll figure out where to find him at. Doesn't matter. TacticalResponse.com. Thanks, guys.